All right, hello everybody. Welcome to our webinar on summer solutions for helping your child thrive in school. I'm really excited to be sharing with everyone. I'm excited that Dr. Carol is here with us as well. And as we're waiting for people to join us on Facebook Live here, I'm going to keep tabs, make sure that everything's rocking and rolling and seeing your comments. Let me give you a little overview of what to expect. And then I'm going to let Dr. Carol introduce herself, introduce Total Learning Centers, and then we'll get to some of the questions that we've got planned. And we'll look for any questions that parents are chiming in with as well. So as we are going through here, the goal of this webinar is to provide helpful, practical, immediately applicable information for parents. We know that summer is usually like a big exhale time for a lot of people, especially if the school year is not a super fun time, if you're, pulling teeth over homework each night and really dealing with notes home from school. That's not fun, right? That gets old. So a lot of parents get to summer and they just crash, right? It's just survival mode. You made it through, you hit the finish line, recoup until you have to fight again next year, right? But what we really want to look at is, are there some fun, easy, practical things you can do during the summer that is going to make you have a lot better of a school year next year? So that's kind of our goal today. We've got some ideas, some questions that we're going to go through that from Dr. Carol's couple of decades of helping parents with this that she knows is really crucial for them. And we want to make sure we answer questions for you. And so that's one thing. I see we've got some people joining us live here. If you are watching, if you're a parent, you've got some school-age kids, throw a comment up there so we know what your situation is. Let us know at least how old your kids are. If you feel like it, you could throw a question up already, and we'll make sure we get to that as well. But as you guys are commenting, posting there, I'm going to go ahead and let Dr. Carol introduce herself in Total Learning Centers.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to see you. What an amazing technology that we have, that we can do this and actually get together and talk and think about how to help our kids grow and be more successful in school. And that's what Total Learning Centers does. Myself and my husband, Dr. Joe Utay, have been working at Total Learning Centers for 20 years, helping families help their children achieve their best potential in school. And we're academic, and so we help you in any way you can. In fact, I'd like to make the offer to anybody who would like, if you want to talk about your situation, I do free consultations all day to help you find resources in Pittsburgh, resources at home, resources at school, and resources here to help our children be the best that they can be.
Awesome. Love it. And that's why she is on here with us today, because they are great at what they do. And she's, like I said, got decades of experience and expertise in schooling that's really going to be able to provide some helpful tips. See you on Facebook there. Hello, Andrea. She says she's got a preschooler, young, at 3 years old, but starting school in August for the first time, Dr. Carol. So we'll have to get some thoughts and ideas for little itty bitty ones as well.
Oh, you bet.
All right, so let's start with first question for you, Dr. Carol. And that is just kind of a broad one. So I'll let you share whatever you feel like is best. But what is it that parents need to be thinking about in the summer to prepare for next school year? And then kind of follow up to that is, what should we be doing? Should we be taking a complete break, or should we be trying to incorporate some activity?
Well, I think the one that encompasses what I've seen with a lot of parents is my sister-in-law, Laura. She was the funniest thing when her first child finished first grade and she did the happy dance like I've never seen done before, that school was out, homework was over, she didn't have to worry about math facts or practicing reading or anything. She was beside herself. We went out to dinner, we had picnics, she couldn't stand that she was so happy without having to worry about school. And I didn't tell her at the moment, I waited a few days, but there's a reason that homework was challenging for my niece. She had some practice and some skill deficits that she needed to work on. And if we could do that during the summer, then she was going to be in a better position for taking care of homework in the fall, and she could still do a happy dance at the end of school but maybe there was still something she could do to help her child.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely, we want to be able to exhale and have that rest and recoup, but you also want to set yourself up as best you can as possible.
And homework is challenging. Our schools have become even more academic, and we're seeing homework even with first graders. There's, we're going to ask them after school to sit down and practice math facts and practice reading and handwriting. And it doesn't stop even in high school. And high school gets more significant for most students.
Yes, for sure. Definitely increases and amping up and what's expected, how difficult, how challenging that work is only gets more difficult. Got another shout out, say hey to Melissa on Facebook there listening. She's got right around a 9-year-old going into or just finishing up 3rd grade. So that's kind of their situation as well there. Okay, so going off of that then, what would you recommend for parents that complete, like, get off the gas, not doing anything, or a little bit of fun learning, a little bit of work? Should it be more homework oriented, workbooks, stuff like that? Or what would you suggest?
I bet you can already guess what I'm going to say. And I'm sorry to say it, but you can't turn off your brains all summer. You still have to think. We want our kids thinking and engaged, but maybe not doing flashcards or workbooks. That might not be the way. And really, parents and kiddos need a break. I want them running. I want them going to the pool, though please put lots of sunscreen on. I want them doing physical things. I want you having fun as a family. And I'm glad that it's a little bit different, but that doesn't mean we stop learning. Reading and math really need to continue. And if we have children that school was challenging for, summer is an awesome time to make up some skills, to do some things in a different way, in a little bit more fun way, and still be learning and engaging our brain.
Yes, I know that
brain moving.
If any of the little kids are listening and they heard fun and learning in the same sentence, they might be like freaking out.
How does that happen?
I'm a self-professed science nerd, so I love learning. I love everything like that. But kiddos, it's a little more difficult, and I'm sure I was difficult in younger years too. But like you're saying, fun learning can be fun. What are some ideas that you have or you'd recommend parents to make it fun? I know in conversations in the past, you've talked about grocery stores, going out to eat, things like that. So can you share a little bit on ideas for parents?
Sure. And I'm going to tell you some things that might be a little bit surprising, but there are 3 things our research is showing us will make actually the greatest impact in our students' learning. And it's really not direct instruction. It's reading to our kids. And a lot of us are really great when our kiddos are younger. We're reading to them almost constantly. And then they get to school and it kind of drops off, and we're doing homework and we're not really having that time to read and love and enjoy books. And that is critical for kids at every age. You should never stop reading to your children. And I know parents will say, wait a minute, I can't imagine reading to my 7th grader. But actually you could. Pick a book for the family. It can be a literature book that you've always wanted to read. Read it out loud. You don't have to have your child read it at all. Take turns, you and your spouse, reading out loud to the kids. If the kids want to read, talk about it. Talk about the vocabulary. Develop a love of reading by reading to your child. That's one. I'm going to tell you 2 more things. Second is family dinners. You know, some of us really work hard to get some food on the table and everybody at the same time. Well, that hard work is worth it. Those family dinners are shown to have a better outcome of reducing attempts, trying drugs than any other intervention. And the third one, and this I'd really recommend for summer, is reduce screen time. Our kids love their video games, and that's okay. There's a place for that. But 6 hours of summer day on screen is probably not the right choice. Students, and if anyone wants to talk about how to reduce screen time, and that might be another spot for us to do, because we're in a society, and it's not just our students, it's us too. We have our phones with us, we're on our computers. There's a lot of screen time. Those three, reading to your kids, family dinners, and screen time, overall help with the best school outcome. And that's not even the academics. Then I have some other ideas with some fun academics. Do you want to hear that now?
I do, but before you move on, because I want to make sure you get some of the questions that were coming in here as well. And thank you guys for throwing the questions up. I know that's helpful for us to make sure you get the most out of it. So if anyone else has got back of their mind, I'm speaking of screen time, I've got double laptops here, making sure we check those questions. But we had a parent chiming in here saying, you know, fully agree with you, Dr. Carroll. Summer is such a great opportunity to learn, just in a different environment, right? So you got thumbs there. And then Andrew is asking, so how much, and this was before you even mentioned screen time, so maybe you don't really have anything to add, but I'll let you know what she asked here. How much screen time is okay for kids in the summer? Sometimes I need a break and I can't seem to get my very active preschooler to sit still without the TV or the iPad. I feel guilty sometimes, but the books or the non-screens don't work as easily as the screens do. So anything, I know you just shared on that. Any other thoughts?
Well, you bet. There are appropriate times for screens. And I actually think there's appropriate times for the kids watching the YouTube videos, which you're so interested in, and in playing the games. But, and if parents need a break, you know, that's so awesome that you would admit that you need a break from the kids. And that's reality. We all are people, we all need breaks, and our kids need breaks. Watching screens 30, 45 minutes, I don't see any problem with it. It's when we're passing the hour mark, I think that we need to look, and you'll watch, our kids are pretty obsessed with their screens, and it's pretty hard to move them off to another activity, and they're made that way. This is deliberate. Everyone who has a game out is thinking, how can I get our kiddos to play that game longer, to be engaged longer? Well, that's their job. That's great. That's cool. But it means our students want to play video games a lot. So an hour or so, there's nothing wrong with that. The other really critical thing is to cut off those screens at least an hour before bedtime. That light that's emitted interferes with the ability to sleep well. And you know that. And I mean, that's really something that would be great, talking about sleep, healthy sleep for our kids, because there's a lot of things that we can do to make it better. And if our students are more rested, their attention is better, they're thinking better, they're easier to work with, and they're better with themselves.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. It seems like sleep could be a whole nother topic, because that's something that we have shared about a lot. And, you know, we talk about the nervous system here at Thrive, and how if your body's in a stressed out fight or flight tension mode, it can't shut down, it can't rest and digest. And that screen time is just as important for us adults too, to get off of it. So,
and I do believe that the screen time makes it harder to get to that relaxed state. So it's a balance. And I think as we look at the whole summer, we really want to say, how are we going to balance? How are we going to have some screen time, some swimming time, some outside time, some family time, some doing nothing, some cleaning out the bedrooms, and some learning? So I'm going to tell parents, look at your lives. Where in your life is math happening? And when you start doing that and get your kiddos to do that, they can play that game too. How are we using math? What's going on? Where are we? Oh, we're at the gas station, and we're looking to see how many gallons are going to fit in the car. When we were 3/4 down, what does that mean? There's 3/4 empty. So there's a lot of ways that math happens in our environment naturally that we can just make a part of our children's lives and really thoughtfully bring them in and teach those skills as we're going through some of the errands we do, as we're going to the grocery store. Let your children decide, look at the different boxes of black beans and see which one is most cost efficient. And is it better if you buy the little one or the big one or this brand? And why might we want a brand name, or maybe why it doesn't matter? That's all math. It's all good. And we can do that at different age levels. So with our very youngest children, we can help them see which number is bigger.
Yeah.
But in the grocery, no big deal. Up to our high school kiddos, helping to say, what is the cost per ounce? Which should we be buying? If we only want to spend $100 at the grocery, what is our, how do we prioritize which items as we're going through and putting them in the basket? How do we estimate where they're at? When they go out to eat, let them pay the bill. Let them figure out the tip, though please double check and make sure we're tipping our wait staff enough and not way too much. So those are a couple. But if you look at your day, if you're cooking, we're measuring. If you're at the bank, talk to your children about what happens at the bank. Open them an account. First National, I know I've worked with them in years, the First National up in Wexford and in Cranberry, and they do great things with kids. They have free accounts, and they're really happy to get kids started on banking information. Well, summer's a great time to do that. Then you get to talk about percentages and fractions and addition and, oh yeah, why we want to know that information, keeping track, organization.
Yeah. No, those are all super practical life skills that.
And not hard.
Yeah.
Not hard for us as busy parents. Okay, they're a little hard, but doable at least.
Yeah, and it's stuff that we're doing anyways. It's just slowing down, bringing it to the attention of our kiddos and kind of thinking through it with them. So awesome tips there. I wanted to make sure we got to another one of the questions that came in. Melissa said she's half tuning in, so I think we had kind of answered this. So doing school with her little dude that, like I said, is right around 3rd grade. How long should summer break be? They're homeschooling, so she said right now the longest break is 8 weeks, and she's asking how much info do they really lose during that time. I think part of the answer is what you're saying, which is don't lose it, stay active with the reading to your kids, to the practical life skills, stuff like that. But any thoughts on, length of a break between schooling stuff?
I don't know if you remember, but about 10 years ago, they started really talking about year-round schooling. And part of the reason was we do lose momentum and just plain skill information as the summer goes. Think about yourself. If you look back at geometry, how many of the theorems would you remember now? Well, you're not actively involved in it. You're not going to remember. And maybe the geometry theorems, especially for us as adults, aren't real important to remember, but we really do want to have students in the habit of reading. And we want to move forward with math, especially then at practical application as fast as possible. So research says longer than 8 weeks, we're going to have a significant drop off. Typically, we have a 12-week break, and that is an issue for many kids. And we know teachers have to spend at least the first 6 weeks reviewing. What if our students were comfortable and ready to go in? So I think homeschooling parents have an extra opportunity because they can set that schedule the way they would work. So I would say, maybe even weekly, do something. Doesn't have to be the same as homeschool, and I'd reduce a full break. I wouldn't make it any longer than 8 weeks.
Good. No, that's good thoughts. Hopefully that was helpful, Melissa, if you're able to tune in. I know she's got a couple little ones too. So
that's a little challenging.
Yeah. Karen, Brandy, Nicole, just want to say hi. I saw you commenting, chiming in there. Let us know if you guys have any questions specific for your kiddos. I know we're somewhat wrapping up here. If there's questions we don't get to, we'll be sure to either answer in the comments. You can always reach out to either of us. Just like Dr. Carroll mentioned, we offer complimentary consultations to just learn more about what we do, make sure it's the right fit for your kiddos and your family. Until we see any other questions come in, another one I had for you is, what if there was a kiddo that, maybe they barely made it through last school year, grades were a struggle. Does that change the plan for summer at all?
It really does. So those kids that school was challenging for, or parents are saying, I'm not sure why their grades were the way they were, their reading isn't done. I really urge you to take full advantage of your time this summer. This is a time you can really concentrate and really change what your weakness is into a strength. I have a friend, and she was the president of the University of Georgia. And she said, and I thought it was such a fascinating thing, that she stopped watching the news at night and she started instead putting with her golf putter. And I said, why? She says, 15 minutes every night. In a year, I will be an expert. And that's exactly what happened. 15 minutes a day doesn't seem like very much, but she was able to take herself from having kind of a bad golf game to having a really good golf game because she improved her putting. The rest of it was kind of needed work, but fascinating idea. There's some research that you can learn a language 15 minutes a day. In a year, you're going to know more than most. In 3 years at 15 minutes a day, you're going to be an expert, no more than 95% in the country. So if we take that same idea, we have a child behind in reading, we spend a couple of hours a week, September is going to look very different. Maybe they won't need reading support. Maybe they'll be able to be in one of the regular groups. Maybe they won't be upset about their reading. So this is the time to really look and say, what got in our way last school year? And let's be really laser focused on making that better. Not workbooks, not struggling, but really figuring out how to move an area forward. And I'll help any parent set up that plan if they're not sure how to do that. That's no problem. But I think that that's really a great opportunity for students.
No, absolutely. And it's like you said, little things aren't huge commitments, anything like that, but way, way, way pays off. And the students who were struggling, those are the parents who probably feel like more than anything they
needed the break.
Take a break, which do give yourself space, take vacation, things like that. But it's kind of, we talk about it as the hard, easy way, right? If you do the hard work first, if you do what you should do first, it makes life a lot easier down the road. So that's what our encouragement is yes, exhale, catch your breath, recoup everything, but get ready to prepare yourself for next year. So it's an even year, your kids reaching their full potential, everything.
And that's what we always want for students. Let's make next year easier, more fun, and work better and for them.
No, absolutely. And that's really, you might be wondering, why the heck is a chiropractor talking about school stuff or kids or anything like that?
Yeah, what are you doing, Dr. Rupp?
Yeah, so why we're doing this is at Thrive Chiropractic, we are a pediatric and prenatal focused office. So this is our world. We work with kids, a lot of them all the time, trying to, like we just help them reach their full potential. Mm-hmm. What we do is we have a scan, have an analysis that figures out, is their brain, is their nervous system working at 100% or close to it? Or are there some stresses in that spine, in that nervous system that are inhibiting them reaching their full potential, inhibiting them from being able to sit still and focus, from being able to learn like they should, or grow or develop or hit those milestones? So whether it's a little newborn who's just struggling to nurse and latch, or a school age kid who's maybe on the borderline of an ADHD or a sensory diagnosis, anything like that. We love working with these families. We love helping get to the root causes of where those stresses are. So then the amazing work of people like Dr. Carol is even more effective because their bodies are at a place of ease and more calm, so they can learn better. And we won't spend more time on that right now. I could talk for hours about it. And that's what I'm going to do in a couple of weeks here. We're having ADHD and sensory workshop, not hours, maybe 1 hour. Next, a couple weeks from now, Tuesday, the 24th at 8 p.m. So we'll make sure that you guys get the link for that. If you want to learn more about how what we do could help your kid focus better, be more calm, be more relaxed, definitely tune in for that. It's going to be an online webinar just like this that you can watch from the comfort of your couch, hanging out in your pajamas, just taking it easy. Any other thoughts? I don't think we've got any more questions. Let me double check. The question for later, she said not to go back to now. Karen's asking, with screen time, is there a difference between preschoolers learning about vegetables and older kids playing games? So now, I think that's kind of a loaded question there. So yes, there is, but maybe we'll chime in on the comments. You can share some thoughts. Okay. Andrea, if you're still listening, Glow Kids is a book that's a great resource for learning more about screen time, what the potential consequences are, and why you want to work hard to limit that the best you can. So look up that book, Glow Kids, and that'll really be a helpful resource for you as well. Anyways, any other thoughts, Dr. Carol, before we wrap?
The only other thing is I wanted to invite people to come actually to the Total Learning Center business location, which is on 110 VIP Drive, close to Sorgles and T-Bones, right off of the Wexford exit. On Friday at 1 o'clock, my daughter, who has struggled with attention and school stuff, is going to talk about her experiences and not only her struggles, but her successes. And it's a great thing for parents to be able to hear and see there are students who have struggled successfully, gotten through high school, gotten through college, and is working and having a happy, productive life. So we'd love to invite anyone who would like to come and join us this Friday at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, that'll be awesome to have a personal, one-on-one small interaction there and say, hey, these are my struggles. This is what's going on now. That'll be really valuable for parents. Andrea, the book was called Glow Kids, GLOW Kids. So if you're still listening, that was it. She'd asked what was it we'd recommended. I can comment it there also.
Great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Carol.
This was fun. Thank you.
I know, I'm liking it. And the technology does make it super easy.
Wow.
Any parents who intrigued, appreciate this, make sure you follow Total Learning Centers and Thrive Chiropractic on Facebook here. I know we both enjoy Instagram, stuff like that as well. That's a good way to stay up to date with upcoming events. Either of us are doing maybe future webinars together. It seems like we need to talk about sleep. Yeah. We'd mentioned when we were together the other day, self-care for moms. And that's why, Andrea, we both loved what you were saying of, just being willing to admit that you're worn out down sometimes. That is awesome. And that's what more and more parents need to be willing to do.
I think parents will.
Yeah, you got to take care of yourself so you can take care of the rest of the family. So thumbs up from us on that regards. And I'm sure you'll be hearing more from us on that topic. So thanks again, Dr. Carol. And we look forward to seeing everyone online here soon again.
Okay, great. Thanks. See you soon.
All right. Have a great rest of the day, everybody. Bye.
Bye.